Welcome back to the Football Tragics. I'm your host, Aaron. I'm joined here by Morty and Campo.
Hey.
We don't have Tony again for another review off the back of an interesting Manchester derby. We're going to miss his little review of this game because we won't have a preview either for next week. So we won't be able to hear from him for a little while. But look, we know pretty much what he's going to say. He's never been all that in the last few weeks. He's always kind of been on that same, pretty much what every other Man United fan, I think, at this point is saying. So, Campo, if you want to start us off, before we get into that game, we're going to get into the first game, which, again, includes a team that you've been critical of recently, but you've been given a bit of praise. It's Southampton 1-0 over Villa. You did predict this one, didn't you? I think you did have them to go 2 in a row, did you not?
Oh, I gave Southampton some credit this week, and they pulled through with me. I only got 2 right. Somehow only got 2 right this week, and Southampton was one of them. But what a goal from Armstrong to open his account for Southampton. But then, again, the game kind of fizzled out. They had one great chance from Armstrong as well, I think. The other one, Stuart Armstrong.
Yeah, Stuart Armstrong.
Missed a sitter. But then there was no clear-cut chances I can remember for either team for the rest of the game. Villa looked very lackluster and have now sacked their coach. Didn't see that coming. Honestly, I didn't see it coming, but it is what it is, and they have to regroup now because I think they're in big trouble.
Yeah, well, that Villa loss leaves them with, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 or 6 games in a row without a win. I think all losses. So they weren't left in a good spot at all. They're now into 16th in the ladder. And yeah, like you said, they sacked Dean Smith. So I don't really know where it's to from here. I don't know really who they're looking to bring in manager wise. Obviously, they're not going to bring any amazing name probably. I know our Villa fan mate was saying Steven Gerrard. I'm not too sure on the links there. I think he's pretty. I'd assume he's happy at Rangers for a little bit. I feel like he wouldn't go mid-season. I feel like he's a project man, and he don't really go at the start of a season. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but like you said, yeah, Southampton they got it done. Stuart Armstrong did miss that sitter, but yeah, the Adam Armstrong came in, scored it was a bit of a screamer to be fair. It was a good finish. It's funny because Givo was saying that he fed both Che Adams and Adam Armstrong last week. Che Adams scored a screamer last week, and now Adam Armstrong scores this week. So it's amazing what happens when their strikers can start scoring goals again, because all season they were missing, but. Yeah, look, good win for Southampton. Puts them up into 13th. They're now unbeaten in 4. So a bit of progress getting made there. And I think it just shows that, I don't know, maybe they probably could have sacked their manager at one point. You know, their start of the season wasn't great, but if they stick with him and shows what can happen, I suppose. What were your thoughts on the game, Morty?
Just Southampton just pissed me off, honestly. Like, really, yeah, they scored a screamer, but they don't look like they're... I don't know what it is. They managed to get the result, fair enough, but they don't look like they're playing good ball. I might sound like Campo here, but I don't know. They're not playing great football, and they're scrapping the result. They're almost pulling Burnley levels out because I don't know what's happening. I think Villa were just very poor this game. They should have created a lot more. They almost did, but yeah. Wembia looks out of his depth, to be honest.
Yeah, I suppose they probably expected a lot more of him, I think. I think he was going to come to Villa and be that Jack Grealish replacement, and it just hasn't happened. It just shows that Grealish was very, very important, and he basically was their team, really. And yeah, they're pulling a Fulham at this point, signing all these names, and they're not actually producing what you probably expected of them. So, look, Campo, you did say it, and we'll give you credit for that. So, yeah, look, I think
the game was top goal scorer this year, and I mean the bloke has to score three a week to even catch anyone at this point.
Yeah, and I don't know what will happen if the new manager comes in. You'd like to think a new manager is going to come in and do a job for them and get them back up the ladder where they should be with that squad. I think it's a good enough squad, especially with like Emi Martinez, who leaves Arsenal for in search of first team football, but also would want to progress his career. So he's not going to want to run away in the Championship. So, yeah. But look, we're going to get into this Manchester derby now. Morty, what were your thoughts on the 2-0 City away win?
City looked like they were kind to him. Like, United looked bad. And, it's all fun and games to say, but you'd think they'd at least come out with a bit more enthusiasm or something. Like, they come off their win last week, but, basically they've lost 5-0 to Poole, then they've come out redemption game against Tottenham and gone straight back to shit again. Right. And they've been screaming for Bailly in there and straight in the back of the net. And I think De Gea had to face more of his own team shots than United created alone. United only had one shot on target, and that was Ronaldo's pop that he just created almost himself. And I don't know I can't tell you what it is, because what more do they? What is this club looking at the moment? We've seen 5 managers sacked in the past 2 weeks, and United still somehow have Ole at the wheel. Really, like if any club can afford to be sacking a manager and paying him out, Tottenham are still paying 4 managers this year. Like, United should just be cutting their loss, because honestly, it's been like they've had a Europa League win, and this is now going on 13, 14 years. So, what, like 2012 was it? 2013?
I think they're 7 years, aren't they? 8 years without it.
It's next year pretty much. We're almost be hitting that 10-year mark without them even competing for the league. They finished second a few years ago out of just pure shithousery. So,
I suppose then you got to look at it like Jose finished second with that squad, and you just think, well, that he claims that to be one of his best achievements in football, and just shows that, I don't know, United I suppose aren't. Yes, they're making a few of these signings, but the money they've spent, they should be progressing, and that includes the manager. I don't know how Ole can sit here. He must be smiling, thinking there's been 4 manager sackings, or whatever, 5 manager sackings this season, and he's somehow still got a job. It's just unbelievable. You look at them; they're in a very, very average form, and I think it shows that Ronaldo coming in has almost saved him at times. He's picked up point on his own for this club in the Champions League as well, and like you said there, that 3-0 against Spurs, Campo, like you can admit, you just were terrible that game. Like it flatters United, because it's a good result, but like it just shows that they're still in a massive rut. They come away and they play this game against City, where they usually rise for. They usually erupt for these big Manchester derbies, especially at home. So to go and put 1 shot on target, De Gea kept this scoreline down. I know, Camper, you're probably going to say the same thing. Like, if it wasn't for him, this could have been a bloody cricket score. And that's really all I have to say. Like, it's just Ole needs to go. It's plain and simple. I don't know what other way you can put it. I think as long as Ole's in charge, I don't know what changes. Again, I'd love to hear a Tony, a bit more of an in-depth reason for why, watching them week in, week out. But that's just the way I see it. I think if Ole doesn't go, it's United's going to be in hot water this year. And they could genuinely risk missing out on.
They already are. They're already in hot water. They're on the verge of almost, like we all laughed and joked when they signed Pogba again. They're on the verge of losing him on a free as well. Fernandes has only got another year on his contract, I'm pretty sure. Ronaldo, I don't know, he signed for 2.
Possibly 3.
Yeah, but if these players start going, who comes to United? Because these are big names that have come in and they've changed somewhat. But if these blokes can't do it, there isn't any other big names that are going to save this club.
It's hard to decide, because I think you look at that squad on paper, and by that centre midfield partnership, it's a bloody great squad. Let's be real, it's a fantastic squad. So I don't know how much of the blame do you put on the players, or is it purely a manager just so out of his depth it's playing the wrong tactics and stuff? What do you think, Campo, on this? Do you think the players have some blame here, or is it the manager?
It's a manager, 100%. They're not a 5-2-1-2 squad or whatever they're playing right now. They don't suit 5 at the back. That's too defensive for Man United. When you have Sancho, who doesn't fit that team right now, who cost them 100 mil, 70 mil.
They're not even playing him in his preferred position half the time as well.
So Van de Beek just rotting on the bench.
They've got all of these good players, but the coach isn't utilising them all. And, they should have pulled the trigger early and brought in Conte if they wanted to play 5-3-2. But, now they're left to regret that decision and, they want to bring in Brendan Rodgers. I think that's a backwards move for them. They're in dire straits right now.
I don't think there's a manager they can bring in who's going to be a long-term project. I think whoever they bring in needs to be, could even be for literally a season or two. Just get them back fighting for titles. So throw whatever you want at Zidane. Give him what he.
Zidane would be the only one that could come in because
yeah,
if there's any former player that can knock some sense into these big names, it's a Zidane. So you look at the squad as well. You shouldn't have to coach that squad as much as I think Ole's just. He's either put too much on it or he's done absolutely nothing. The squad should be just playing itself. Like he should be able to bring on a Sancho, and Sancho can just do what he wants on the wing and play it into him. But they look like they're trying to get Ole out, but he's stuck there.
Yeah, I think you've seen probably a few of the photos flying around of when Ronaldo scores these winners and the equalisers, and you see Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire in the background thinking, why have you done that? Because Ole's going to get another week now. So I think it is a case of Ronaldo's probably the only player who really wants to win games and score goals, and the rest are ready for Ole to leave. But yeah, look, I don't know what's going to happen with this managerial thing. It's Brendan Rodgers coming in. Like you said, Ken, I don't know if that's not really a forward move. He's not a proven winner, when you look at a Manchester United, you need a proven winner. So
Rodgers is someone you can bring in to get your club back on track. Like
maybe is the reason.
As much as Liverpool, whatever, he scrapped and fought his way through and set a platform out, but he couldn't take us any further. And
yeah, well, look, you probably look at that then and say, bring him in for a season 2 max, and then at that point there'll be another big name manager on the cards, I think, ready to come in. So look, it could be it's better than Ole. Let's be real. Anything's probably better than Ole at this point. I can get Roy Keane in, get a few training ground bust ups, and just get him back on track. But now we're going to move into my team. Chelsea 1-1 draw with Burnley. It's a Burnley result. It really is. You look at the stats from this game, and it's just we absolutely killed them all game. We were all over them, and it just shows if you don't take your chances against a team like Burnley, they're going to scrape that. They're going to scrape that equaliser. 25. 4 on target is probably the worst stat there. Like if you're having 25 shots, I think you need to be putting more on target. We hit the post once or twice. Kai Havertz though, great goal. Reece James getting more assists, which is good to see. I want to get into that right back battle a little bit more with the Trent a bit later. Nothing crazy, but and then look, Vidra equalises and he almost has a chance to win it as well. So I think coming away with the draw, it's a very disappointing result. However, we still end the week top of the table because of results elsewhere. So I can't be too mad. What were your thoughts on the game, Campo?
It's a Sean Dice masterclass. Am I echoing to you?
Yeah.
What's that?
I think I'm echoing.
No, you're fine. I can hear.
Well, Sean Dyche, masterclass. What do you say? Jay Rodriguez also had a chance to win it at the end there. He went through 1-on-1 and then, got scared and ran to the corner. I don't know. Chelsea, first time you've finally seen him missing that striker. I think if Big Ron plays, he bodies that defense and they score 3.
Yeah, obviously Kai Havertz getting the score sheets playing as that number 9, but the goals he scored are different, I suppose, to the way Ron would score. Like you said, he'd probably just bully his way through there and find the back of the net somehow.
But Sean Dice masterclass. It's just a Burnley result, and every team gets them every year, so it's good to see it happen to you for once.
Oh, your thoughts, Morty?
Look, I watched the second half of this game. It put me to sleep. This is just the reason why Burnley should not be in the Premier League. Like, yes, fair enough. You got a 1-1 draw against Chelsea, and that's their highlight of the year. Good on them. They ain't winning nothing else. And it's that sort of football that makes you not want to watch. Like, I don't want to watch Burnley. I do not want to watch that sort of ball. Like, if you're talking, we pay money for this. I don't care that they want to stay up and do nothing, but at least make it competitive. Yes, you can argue a 1-1 draw is but nah. The way the game pans out, the way it happens, you hate yourself for watching that game because it hurts my brain. And yeah, I can't say much more because I think every other team would be drawing with Burnley the way that Burnley played that game too. I was happy the week before when Cornet, they looked like they were at least trying to attack. This game again, back to nothing. I'd be frustrated.
I think the fact that it worked and they got a point at Stamford Bridge for this game shows, Sean Dyche can pull off a result like this. But yeah, as a Burnley fan, you wouldn't want to watch your team each week. I don't think it would be hard. And I think this could be the year where it's too much. They've got to change their system because look, they're in the relegation fight. It's a long season, we know that for sure, but this could be the one I think that possibly is that a year too long for them.
Look at it like this. This is probably one of the more competitive leagues. Usually, it's at this point. I think either City or Liverpool in the past 4 years have kind of taken away, other than last year, and teams will come up against Burnley and look to the next game because they've either got a midweek game or something. They just wouldn't put that extra effort in. Burnley keep going this way. There's teams that are going to be wanting 3 points out of this much more. And I think it just happened to come up against Chelsea, top of the league, who were sitting okay, not eager to get another 2 points out of it. So,
yeah. Well, we move across to another part of London here. Another team that's flying. It's Crystal Palace, 2-0 over Wolves. This was a game, I suppose, that two teams coming in with very good form. We know Wolves were in very good form at the time. And it just shows Palace are starting to put together his results finally. It's impressive to see Conor Gallagher, scoring again. Wilfred Zaha scoring as well. Took a while for that one to get given, the VAR call. But, Palace they're finally starting to pick up those results. We know they drew a lot of games where they probably could have won. But now they're into 10th, they're into mid-table, and they're unbeaten in quite a few games. So, what are your thoughts, Morty, when it comes straight back to you?
Vieira ball. They're playing. They're playing to the way he wants to play, and yes, they got a few draws to start off, but they were just getting accustomed to the way he wants to play, and it's getting results for him now. Like they are pushing forward, and they're looking like they can create and score against anyone at this point, really. And we saw it last week against City. Like they've continued it on, and they're not going to be the team to win 5-0, but they will grind out a result. They will keep their clean sheet, and they will go on and try and play some decent football. So,
look, I hate to bash United even more, but it just shows like a good manager. Like you look at Vieira here, and he's implemented this system. It's working for a team that maybe on paper's not quite there. And then you got Anole, who's got this bloody war chest to work with, a great team, and there's just no tactics. So managers, obviously, it just shows the importance of them. I think. I don't know. You don't like Vieira Campo, but again, Vieira ball, it's in full swing, isn't it?
Oh, I can't stand the twat, but you have to respect what he's doing. He's turned an average team last year that was scraping wins, finished mid-table as well, and they're looking like a Europa League side. They bullied Wolves that game. Wolves offered nothing. They got completely played off the park. And that's all down to Vieira's system.
Well, that's Wolves' team that came into this game in good form as well. So shows Selhurst Park was rocking. Southend, they're playing some great football, and you've just got to give them huge credit. All right, another team. They finally picked up that win, boys. They got it. They're off the mark. I did say this was the game, and I'm pretty sure you all. I said that we're gonna have to clip it because there's no way Norwich are gonna win. And I said if there was ever a game, it was gonna be this week. And it was. Norwich 2-1 away from home against Brentford. Brentford, that's their fourth loss in a row now. So their hot start to the season has come to a halt. Norwich, look, they're still bottom of the table, but they're off the mark. And funnily enough, they sacked their manager straight afterwards. I think it was probably just always going to happen at this point, regardless of the result. Campo, what were your thoughts on the game?
The amount of chances Brentford had to equalise and go on to win, I don't know how they lost this game. Norwich went up 2-0. Deservedly, stupid penalty, the sly tackle in the back, and a good finish from Norman. but then Brentford were attacking. They got one back through their left back. Tim Krul is useless. That man was so confused. Simple tap in, and then just pressure. But Norwich held on.
Yeah, Tim Krul's only really good at penalty stopping, isn't he? At this point,
Yeah.
we know heroics there. What were your thoughts, Morty, on this one?
It's just this is how football goes, isn't it? Because I just look back to the Liverpool game and they only had their 4 chances and they scored 3 of them. This time they've had 20 and they failed to score. Like they were struggling. They're down on confidence at the moment, and Norwich get their first and only win of the year.
Do you fancy Brentford, to turn this around again? Is it just a slump in form, or does it show it's just the Premier League's harder than you think it is?
It's hard to say because, a few weeks ago, like they were scoring for fun, they were bullying big teams, and they were just getting away. But maybe I don't know if they've been found. I wouldn't say it's found out because they still have the same amount of chances. They're lacking that finishing. And just
So
maybe
that's a slump in form.
It's they're down on confidence, and they're just thinking. I think they're just a few finishes away from getting back into some winning form. So I wouldn't say they'll be able to turn it around. They're not just down in the dumps. So.
Yeah. So Campo, then I'll ask you, where to for Norwich now? Look, they're on 5 points now. They're off the mark. They've got that win. They're not relegated at this point. We all looked at the team and we thought they're gone. They're done. But suddenly they're not. They're only 5 points behind 17th place Watford. So, with a new manager, do they rescue it, or what do you reckon?
No, they're still crap. They only had 2 chances this game. They scored both. It's not going to happen every week. Teams aren't going to bottle all these chances that Brentford had. I'm just glad that Spurs aren't the first loss to them.
I think it just shows though that Derby record of 11 points is that's never going to be broken, is it? Like I think Norwich at this point should do it. They've got 20 something games now to go. Yeah, 6 points. One more win, a couple more wins will do it. So yeah, we went from a team that we thought could actually break that record into now just laughing, I suppose, more at Derby. But yeah, look, Norwich they get a win. It's a good win, but I'm with you there. I think it's still dark nights ahead for them. I think they're gone. All right, another team that could be gone this year because they're not picking up enough wins. They're actually winless. Newcastle away at Brighton. That's their 5th draw. You've got a lot of draws, and it just shows it's going to be again a long season for them until at least January, where they're going to hopefully be able to turn it around with some transfers. Morty, what do you reckon?
It's gonna be an interesting year for him because on that form, I don't know. Stranger things have happened than them going down. But I mean, in saying that, Brighton were a top 5 squad a few weeks ago. Like they are.
Well, they now got 4 out of 5 draws, and then 4 draws and 1 loss in the last 5. So they've been a bit average themselves.
Yeah, well, I think it's more a tale of who they've played. I think Newcastle is still yet to play some of the. I don't think they played. Have they played Norwich yet?
Who, Newcastle? Probably not. Otherwise, they should have a win.
Yeah, I think that they're just lacking a few of those things, and they, as you say, they're still only a win, 2 wins out of getting out of the relegation battle. They'll have their chance to scrap something. Say maximum. I mean, they'd be doing dirty things to that Norwich defence. So.
Well, look, Eddie Howe, it looks like he's going to be the next manager in charge there. So, is that a good move from Campo, or do you think they should go elsewhere?
I really like Eddie Howe. He's always, when Bournemouth were in the Premier League, he's come out and said, I want to, give the fans something enjoyable to watch. We might lose most weeks, but as long as the fans are happy with the football, I'm happy. So, if Newcastle can play some good football, it'll be a pleasure for everyone to watch. But again, I don't think Newcastle are going to be able to sign a lot of players in January because they need more than 200 million to fix that squad.
Not really.
Who do you bring in then?
You bring in a quality. You bring in a Premier League centre back.
And how much cost? How much would that cost?
I'd say they're paying 35, 45, anywhere between that. They've got Lascelles there. He can do a job for the rest of the season until they can start.
Newcastle could look at like a Tarkovsky, for example, and like if you're Tarkovsky and you're getting offered this much money, why not go from Burnley to Newcastle? Because there's a better project, I suppose, in place, and pay rise as well will obviously help. So possibly look at someone like him.
Again, English tax. I reckon that'll be 60 million.
They definitely, especially because they're a relegation opponent as well. They'd definitely be, they'll probably be saying 70 mil and you can have him. So
but they can afford to play that. They just need a decent midfielder that'll get them through out of the relegation battle. They've got some strike force. They can finish. They'll use that to hold on. That's maybe 100 mil. They won't care. It's a drop in the water.
Say though, if Eddie Howe does when he comes in, how much does it change just with the managerial change? We know it can happen. Like managers can win games just with their tactics. So it'd be interesting to see. He might be able to work with this squad already, and he might think this squad's good enough and only need one or two extra pieces for it. So I think it probably was just a case of they're not playing entertaining football; they're playing crap football. Don't
give him the checkbook because.
Well, we have seen what he does with.
Jordan Ivan Solanke for 55 million or something, 60 million. They like robbery.
They were both from Liverpool at the time, weren't they, as well?
Yeah.
So I don't know how he's got that much out of him, but Eddie Howe needs to take a look at himself for that. Yeah. All right, Campo, let's talk about Conte now. Nil or draw to start off his Premier League return against an Everton team who have been pretty average. So what were your thoughts on this one?
Defensively, we look good, but he's still trying to find that balance. Personally, I don't think you can play Skip and Højbjerg in the midfield. You got 5 at the back plus 2 DMs. It's lose that creativity. If you have Lo Celso in there or Ndombele, you create more. But I'm hoping he'll fix that next week or whenever international's over. But again, just lackluster up top. Can't blame the strikers because it wasn't always up there. We had chances, they had chances, but there was nothing clear-cut that game, and it's a fair result.
Yeah, I think, look, him coming in, it's going to take a little while, I suppose. We saw what happened midweek. That was a crazy, crazy game. Got off with a win, I suppose it always helps, but yeah, you conceded the goals there. And I think just to go and obviously keep 0-0 this week, it just shows that defensively you're going to be better. There's no doubt about it. And I think he is at this point just still trying to find his best 11. And that'll take a little while. Like you said there, Oliver Skip and Højbjerg together, I don't think works. I think you can just look at that and think it doesn't, and just know it doesn't work. I think Ndombele offers a lot more than Skip. Or Celso, even if he wants to play there. Dele Alli, even. And yes, the work rate's probably what lets Dele Alli down. But yeah, I think it'll take a little bit of time. But defensively, you've already looked better and you will be better. But are you pleased to see Ben Davies is somehow still starting games? And
if he's not at left back, fine by me.
You just keep cutting back on your words, mate. We'll go clip that from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay.
You did say a manager who plays Ben Davies should not be managing Tottenham, basically.
But if you're putting a fat Welshman on left back against a pacey winger, he's getting skinned every single day of the week.
So you're basically saying he's fine as a left centre half.
He plays that for Wales, so he's more comfortable there than isolated out on a isolated left back. So as long as it's not Sanchez and Dyer next to each other, I can't complain too much.
So you're not over the moon with the result, obviously, but it's not the worst result to start his campaign.
I'm not upset about it, but I'm not. We didn't play bad, but we had 2 VAR decisions go our way this game. They had a penalty. VAR overturned it. Lloris got a glove to the ball, and then the red card on Holgate. So, I wish we could create it a bit more, but Conte will get it right next week.
All right. Leeds United versus Leicester.
What are you going to say?
Oh, did you not? I thought you spoke on that. Sorry. Go on then, quick.
Not a single shot on target at all from your $100 million man.
Yeah.
Anybody in the team. Exactly.
Yeah.
Look, I think obviously you're going to look better playing 5 at the back. It's pretty hard for Premier League players to not look defensively more solid with a 5 at the back. I think you could play it with any squad and you'd still look a bit better. I think you aren't going to be winning many games with that 5 at the back. I think you'll be holding on. You just be doing as is, and you might get a few lucky breaks. But playing that formation requires a certain level of midfielders, and there's none at your club. Højbjerg could do a job with maybe like Kante next to him, but you need top quality midfielders to make that 3-5-2-1 work, because once that ball gets lost, you're then facing Ben Davies and Dyer, and midfield is not holding that ball.
I mean, we do have the quality, but they're all on the bench because he wants that 2 DMs. If you put Kante next to Højbjerg, it changes nothing because they're still 2 defensive-minded players.
No, but they're not supposed to attack. These midfielders in this formation aren't supposed to. They're supposed to sit deep and let the wing-backs just go and do their thing.
They still need to be able to offer that.
They still need to offer the pass through, but they still. That's what they're there. That's why they're the top quality, because they know when they can move forward and when they have to hold back, because it's a special sort of thing. Like when you're playing 3-3 in the mid, then there's a bit more freedom. You can go forward and you got some coverage, but you've got to be able to play it because your left wing is already bombed. He's gone. You can't find that pass. You're going backwards again, and you're getting pressured. The ball's gone. I just think it's going to be worrying for you when you're going back up against some higher quality teams. It's going to work against, your Norwich and your. It will that's the way it works, but it's going to be a struggle against top quality teams, and we already saw it in Europa, not Europa, Conference League. You scrapped through, and you played full strength. So.
Oh yeah, we switched.
But yeah, that was his first game in charge, so you don't know.
I know, but you're a Premier League squad that made Champions League final 3 years ago. These players should be able to be winning this game against Conference League.
No, I don't doubt you, but let the manager get his feet first, and then we'll talk in 5 weeks.
Let's give him some time before he roast him.
I'll give him some time. I'm just saying, it's going to be a long year for Tottenham, and yeah.
All right, well, that'll segue us into another team that's going to be in for a long year, and it's Leeds United. 1-1. This was always going to be firecrackers, this game, and it was. From 5 minutes in, it was bloody end-to-end stuff. Campo, what were your thoughts on this one? Obviously, it's not the best result for a Leeds United team at home that needs wins, but Leicester's a decent squad.
I just can't believe how quick, there's twice now Leicester have conceded and scored within 30 seconds. I don't know how teams keep switching off straight after they score a goal, but it's shambolic from Leeds to give that goal away. Rafinha, again, he's the only one that provides anything. We say it every week, and until January comes and they can try and bolster that attack, they're solely relying on him. And
they're missing that another player to help him out with Bamford. It's clear, he scored goals last season. Probably not towards the end. He slacked off a bit, but at the beginning he was lightning. And yeah, Rafinha's on the score sheet again, and that's the only way they're going to get points is when Rafinha's scoring or assisting, because they look average. Like you said there, defensively, how do you switch off straight after a goal? It's one of the number one rules in football. Defend for 5 minutes at least, hold them out, and then it's the game settles again. But Harvey Barnes, take nothing away from the finish. That was an absolute screamer. Don't think many keepers are saving that one. But look, 1-1 draw. Leicester, I think, will be happy with that one just because Leeds, again, they're at home. They should be winning. What will be your thoughts, Morty, though, with this performance from Leeds?
Leeds are worrying because, you've already looked at it. He's already missed 3-4 games this year from just having to play internationals. If he's going off again and cops one injury, that could be Leeds done for the year, because he is the only one that can do anything for that team. And then, meanwhile, as well, we all talk about it, Newcastle are in some need of some players. What better team to go to? Rafinha, he obviously can save the squad himself. Why not go to Newcastle for some more money, and you'd be looking, better off in the future. So I don't know. Leeds are worrying. I think Leicester are too, because if there's already talk of their manager going, who do they get? Because, well, Eddie Howe, I'd probably say, would be only real one, and he's gone too. Like there is not much more quality left on the market unless I don't know. Like I don't know who there is, because really
Right. Steve Bruce looking for a job now. Someone can go hire him, rescue. But yeah, like there is a shortage, I suppose, of managers. But they are there. There's ones probably sitting in the lower leagues, or just there, ready to take up their first chance. But yeah, if Leicester lose Rodgers, that's them again. Like you want to that they were progressing as a club, and now they're taking a backward step. So. Tough times, I think, ahead for both these teams. And yeah, with Rafinha, I don't think he'd go to a Newcastle, even if they did offer. I think he'd only be going to, say, a Liverpool or a bigger club, maybe possibly to Spain or whatever. But you're not wrong. Like, if the opportunity is there, it could happen. All right, we move into a team who probably best in form team in the Premier League at the time. It's Arsenal 1-0 over Watford. Look, it wasn't the easiest game. They probably should have won by a fair few more if Aubameyang didn't miss a few good chances with that penalty as well. But good 1-0 win for them. Moves them up into fifth now. They're above Man United. So it shows that one team started the season better, and then the other team's now got some tactics on the board, and they're starting to play good football and get the results. Campo, what were your thoughts on this one?
Couldn't care less, to be honest. Ben Foster was having such a good game too, and then I think it's poor keeping for that Smith Rowe goal. I personally think he could have done a lot better for that, but Arsenal fully deserved that result. They were dominating the game, dominating the chances, and Watford, hot and cold, and today they were cold.
Absolutely, and again, look, it's Ranier is a great manager, but it's Watford, and they're not going to. I thought that they started the season pretty decent with the football they were playing, but yeah, they've been in a pretty bad run of form now. It's 1 win in 5 for them. So much like Brentford, I suppose, they're in a bit of a slump when they started a little bit better, and they've now finding themselves in this relegation fight, bottom of the table really. So they need to start getting those results together. But Arsenal, they're looking good. What do you reckon, Morty?
Last year, Arsenal would have lost this game. So I think they're showing great improvements. They've stuck to their guns, and I think they've learnt from their lessons of their sacking of the managers and continuing on. They've now given him some money. They've built over a few transfer seasons now. They've got some squad, and I think now they can start attracting some bigger names to fill a few of those gaps that probably are needed still to take it to the big boys. But they're doing a great job. Arteta has taken what we thought he was going to be sacked for in the first few weeks before the season even started, and he's now pushing for top 4, really.
Look, defensively they've been a lot better, but I think going forward, their results have really come from individual brilliance. Like Emil Smith-Rowe's been killing it. Bukayo Saka, obviously, we know what he's capable of. So I still think they're not scoring as many as they should be, and that they'd probably like to be. They're not killing teams off. And look, if Watford were on, they could have scraped a 1-1 draw here against the run of play. So it's looking good for Arsenal, but there's still heaps to be done, I think, with just going forward, whole squad really. But all right, look, final game of the rounds. Morty, we'll let you take it away because it was your first loss of the season. I predicted it last week. West Ham, they're too good, mate. They're too good. What are your thoughts on this one?
It was rough. Look, credit to West Ham. They played well. They came with their game plan and they executed precisely to what they needed to do. I think Moyes, he's got that team up and about. They're on fire at the moment. Pretty much, they are. Pushing on that Europe. As Campo's famously said, they can't back it up, and they continue pushing on. They are just proving that some heart in a squad is doing wonders for them. They don't have, other than maybe Declan Rice, I don't think any club he's going to target any of those players individually to come. If you know, like they're not. Maybe other than Declan Rice and Antonio, there's no real target man that clubs will be wanting out of that squad, and they just work as a squad. Liverpool, Alisson was poor. Robertson was poor. Cresswell probably, I hope you've done more damage to Henderson, honestly, because there's a few people saying that he should have been sent off for it. Like he came off the top of the ball. I think at the time it shouldn't be given as a free kick. The ref waved it off with absolutely nothing. I think at least it should have been a free kick, but yeah, it came off the top of the ball. It is what it is. Just wished he'd done more damage, to be honest, because honestly, like we took Fabinho off, and like it should have been Henderson to come off. Fabinho was doing his job. Like he was coming in, coming out. I think Konate probably would have been a bit better this game than Matip. Matip doesn't really have I've only seen Konate in action one game, but Konate looks more physically dominant, and I think that's probably more what we needed, because Alisson was getting manhandled in blocks, and no one come to help him. I think the last goal, Van Dijk was literally standing there watching him. Antonio's still pushing him, and what are you doing? Because what's his head comes out of row Z and flies and takes it away.
Yeah,
I think more or less though we're missing. You're gonna fucking laugh in my face, but we're missing Firmino this game because the three running in behind doesn't work. I think it just proves how key Firmino is to unlocking Mane and Salah, because if you look at it, you got Jota running in behind, you got Salah trying to run in behind, you've got Mane running in behind. There's no one coming back to grab the ball off the midfield and then take it further forward. And that's what we lack. Yes, he's going to grab goals because one ball that elapsed in defence, but West Ham didn't give up. West Ham didn't lapse, and I think we only created off that Origi brilliant goal. All he does is score bangers, and an Arnold free kick, because the ball in behind wasn't working, and we didn't have anything else to change it up.
Yeah, look, I think it just shows like West Ham, they literally are just flying. They're into third now, level on points with City. They're just momentum just keeps taking them over, I think. And if you look at those couple of results, the first few times they couldn't back it up after Europe, they'd be top of the table right now if they pull those ones off, because since then they've been flawless. And Declan Rice he's amazing. He's a fantastic footballer, but just all over the park they're playing with heart. And it just shows David Moyes has got this team playing how he wants, and they're killing it. That Kurt Zuma goal, though, I do want to speak. Like Trent Alexander, I don't know what he's doing. Campo and I were talking off here before you joined, Waddy. What's he actually doing? He's not on the post. He's just kind of stood there.
Doing nothing.
What's he actually?
It was ball watching. Like, we'll be real. He's ball watching, but it's cost us in the past too. Klopp loves this zone marking nonsense, and like
but who's he marking?
Huh?
Who's he marking in that zone?
But that's the problem. Like Klopp has set it out that if you watch every game, every corner, they're always in the same spots. And some teams come play with those players on the back post further out, waiting for that loose ball. But no one was tracking anybody. Like that, no one has a man to mark because they want this zonal marking. I hate it. Like if there's one thing that I'd argue with Klopp about, it's his bloody zonal marking, because it does not work. And you watch it, like the first goal, Alisson's getting bodied by Antonio, and whatever happens off the corner. But then you look at it further going, it happens again for the last goal. Why has nothing changed? Like they must honestly get roasted in there if they don't back up this zonal marking, because even Van Dijk's looking at him going, oh, should I do something or maybe not? And he just stands there, and it's frustrating.
Oh, look, going forward, Trent scored an absolute worldie. Salah got the assist for it. All he had to do was just tap the ball. I want to get back to that point I made earlier, like that I wanted to get into. Right backs in the Premier League right now, they're better than ever. Like Trent scoring goals, he's getting assists. Cancelo, he's playing on the left, yes, but like he's in that conversation now. And Reece James has added the goals and the assists as well. So it just shows that like I think they're all just pushing each other. It's almost like who can have the best season, which is how it should be, obviously. So going forward, like they're all fantastic footballers, but Trent, that question marks over that. But yeah, look, absolute wonder. I'll take nothing away from that. What were your thoughts, though, Campo, on the overall performance, of course?
I just can't believe Alisson decided to save his worst performance ever for this game. The first goal, his fault. Second goal, got two hands on it and it went under him somehow. Again, that should have been saved. And then Mane at the end, that should have been 3-3. That should have. So Liverpool will be kicking themselves with the amount of chances they missed.
Yeah, and I could sit here and say that we could have. Like that's the way it is. It's at the end of the day, it's the result. It was a great game to watch. It was end to end at one point, and it's the way it was. Alisson had an off day. Fair enough. He's not doing it every week. You can't be mad at that. I just want to go back to the left and right back battle. I honestly think this is the movement from the Premier League always wanting to stay up. Like you watch it, the defensive lines for some teams have dropped so far back that your left and right backs are now having these chances created for them because there's no one on them. 15 years ago, that the game's played so much more in the middle of the pitch than it is at the moment, and I think that's where it's come from.
So why is Aaron Wan-Bissaka in this conversation there? Because he just stays back, does he?
Well, and that's when you look at United's results. Did you see any of these crosses that game?
It
was honestly pathetic. I could have crossed better than him with my left foot, and I'm a right footer, and I'm nothing special. Like I think it's showing that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just. I think it's just the way it's come out because I don't know, it's a different way of playing ball.
Look, do I think this game will decide the title race? Like if Liverpool lose by 3 points? No, I don't think it is. I think this result you could say it was coming because I don't think Liverpool have been flawless this year to be unbeaten at this point. So West Ham though, like massive result for them. They're gonna claim it and move into third spot above you. But I think the title race it'll be still close as anything. Could even include West Ham this year. Could include Arsenal. There's going to be teams amongst it. Well, probably won't. Look, I'm just saying because they're only a few.
Don't be stupid.
Sure. But I don't think this result proves too much for the title race. Chelsea didn't gain too much from it, given that we dropped points. City just got theirs back on track, I suppose, with that win. But it's a very long season, that's for sure. And yeah, it's just I think you got to give more credit to to West Ham here than you do say Liverpool were horrible because again, Alisson, a couple mistakes from him cost you the game, and like I said, probably doesn't happen every week. Look, that's probably all we're going to have time for this week because there's no preview. We've got another international break, and we all can't stand those, so it'll be a week or so off, and then we'll be straight back into it. Hopefully with Tony as well. Need to hear his thoughts. Does Ole have a job by then? Hopefully not. For our sake, yes.
I think it's gone too far. He's stuck in that job to the end of the season.
Well, they're all saying he's got the job for the year. So if that's true, United might find themselves mid-table, but we'll find out. All right, thanks for joining me, lads. We'll catch you again soon.
Peace.